Now I'm going to bring in an interview I created earlier with a Zoom H2. So to do that, I'm going to go in this Files area and click on this Open File button. In the Open Files dialog box, I'll simply find my interview, select it, and click Open. The interview opens up as an audio file. We can listen to it and make some adjustments. I'm going to select something that I want to get rid of, but this time instead of control clicking or right clicking, I'm just going to select something I don't like and then just hit the delete key. Once again, to get out of the audio file view and back to the multi-track view, I'm going to go in my Files area and double click my multi-track project. Now I need to create a new empty track for my interview. So to do that, I'm just going to go up to Edit, then down to Track, and over to Add Audio Track. And I can rename this Interview. And just as I did with the voiceover, I'll click and drag my audio file into my interview track. Now we see that our voiceover overlaps our interview. So if we listen to that, it's obviously going to be a problem. So I'm going to click and drag my interview over here. But now the problem is I can't see the rest of my interview. In order to view all of my waveforms together, I'm going to go up to View and then down to Zoom Out Full. And there we are, problem solved. Now, I happen to know that I'm not actually going to use all of this interview. I've listened to it and I only need it until about here. So to crop or truncate part of this audio file, I'm going to go down to the end of that sound chunk and my cursor becomes this sort of I-beam two-sided arrow. And so what I'm going to do is just click and drag that all the way down here. Now as I was doing that, I noticed that there was some snapping happening. So I want to fine-tune this just a little bit. So I need to actually turn snapping off. So I'm going to go up to View and down to Snapping and deselect Enabled. And now I can fine-tune this a little bit without it snapping to the playhead. Now I'm going to go ahead and record an outro for my podcast interview here. So once again, I'm going to go up to File and down to Record. And here in the Record dialog box, I don't really need to change anything. My levels are looking good, so when I'm ready, I just hit the Record button. And now I can say a little something, thank you for listening, etc., etc. And when I'm all done, I simply hit the stop button once again. And here we are looking at the waveform of our outro in the audio file view. And to get back to our multi-track project, I'm just going to double click it over here in the Files area. Now I just need to click and drag my outro into my voiceover track and line it up properly, and I'll listen to everything to make sure everything checks out. And once I'm sure that's the case, I want to export my project as an MP3. So to do that, I'm going to go up to File on the menu bar and down to Export and Multitrack Mixdown. In the export dialog box, you'll notice that we have a lot of different audio options to choose from. For what I'm doing right now, I'm going to choose MP3 and then hit save. And now we see our compression options dialog box. This is nice because it allows us to change our bit rate. Right now it's at 128 kilobits per second, which is pretty standard for an MP3. Technically, we could up that to 256 kilobits per second because a lot of people have DSL and cable connections now at home, but we'll leave it at 128 for now. And we'll also leave our MP3 stereo because technically our interview was in stereo. And probably the best feature of the compression options dialog box is this button right here, which allows us to preview our project with this compression applied. All we have to do is hit that play button. And now I'm listening to what my project actually sounds like as an MP3 before I actually export it. So it sounds good. I'm going to hit the stop button. And then to actually export it, I'm just going to hit the save button. And once our MP3 has been exported, it actually appears as a file within our files area, and we're actually looking at it right now in the audio file view. Now, even though I've just exported my entire project as one MP3, I still need to save everything in case I want to revisit it later. SoundBooth is nice because it allows you to do a save all, and what that means is everything you see here in the files area stays together, so I don't have to worry about making sure my waves stay in the same area in relation to this project file. If I want to move it from one computer to another, I don't have to worry about anything like that. All I have to do is go up to File and down to Save All, and it will all stay together. And now that I'm done in SoundBooth, I'm just taking a look in my folder, and I see that I have my project file as well as the MP3 that I exported. I'm going to go ahead and send the MP3 on to the instructors, and I'll make sure my project file is saved where they asked me to save it. And I'll log out of the computer, and I'm good to go.